Ladies and gentlemen, there is a power inside you, greater than any obstacle you will ever face, stronger than any fear that might try to hold you back. It is the power of belief. When you begin to believe, not just casually or occasionally, but deeply, fervently, unshakably, in the unlimited possibilities of life, everything begins to change. Doors that once seemed shut swing wide open. Paths that looked impossible clear before your eyes. You are not limited by your past, by your circumstances, or by what others have said about you. You are only limited by the boundaries you place on your own faith. And today, I want you to tear down those boundaries, lift your eyes higher, expect more, believe bigger, because the truth is, your life can become something greater than you've ever dreamed, if only you will believe that it can. What the mind can believe it can achieve, that is not just a saying. It is a spiritual truth, a life-changing principle, and a divine law written deep into the fabric of the universe. When you believe, truly believe, something extraordinary happens. You activate a force far greater than your natural strength. You tap into a source that moves mountains, opens unseen paths, and makes the impossible possible. You become a living channel through which power flows. God's power, creative power, miraculous power. Most people live far beneath their potential, not because they lack ability, but because they lack belief. Doubt whispers, you can't. Fear says, you're not enough. But belief, strong, faith-filled belief, speaks louder and says, yes, you can. Belief lifts you from the pit of limitation and sets your feet on higher ground. When you believe in a dream, you give it permission to grow. When you believe in yourself, you give yourself the freedom to rise. And when you believe in God's purpose for your life, you become unstoppable. This belief is not about wishful thinking or empty hope. It is a firm conviction rooted in truth, that you were created with greatness in mind, that you are equipped for your calling, and that the same power that formed the stars lives within you. Once that belief settles in your heart, nothing outside of you can defeat what is inside you. Mountains don't intimidate you, failures don't define you, and setbacks don't stop you. Because belief gives you eyes to see beyond the visible and strength to walk by faith, not by sight. The greatest battles you will ever fight are not with the world, but with your own thoughts. And when you choose belief over doubt, faith over fear, victory over defeat, you shift the atmosphere of your life. New ideas emerge. New courage is born. New doors open. And where there was once hesitation, now there is bold action. You must speak belief over your life daily. Declare it when you feel strong and especially when you feel weak. Say, I believe there is more for me. I believe I am capable. I believe God is with me. These are not just words. They are spiritual seeds, and when sown faithfully, they produce a harvest of victory. So believe in your future, believe in your worth. Believe that you are not here by accident, but by divine design. Believe that no dream is too big, no goal too high, and no challenge too great when you walk by faith. Because once you begin to truly believe, the world opens up in ways you never imagined, and the best is always yet to come. You are not ordinary. You are not average. You are not limited by the labels others have placed on you or the failures you've experienced in the past. You were created by the hand of God with a purpose so vast, so extraordinary, that even you have not fully grasped it yet. Within you lies the imprint of the Creator himself, his power, His creativity, His strength. That means your potential is not defined by the world's standards. It is not measured by your education, your background, or your current situation. Your potential is limitless because the one who made you is limitless. Too often, people walk through life unaware of the greatness that resides in them. They look outward for validation, for strength, for confidence, never realizing that everything they need to rise is already within them. The same God who spoke the universe into existence breathed life into you. That breath carries with it creativity, wisdom, resilience, and the power to do more than you've ever imagined. You are not here to simply exist. You are here to live with purpose, to grow, to create, to rise, to overcome, and to inspire. When you understand that your potential is God-given, you stop limiting yourself based on your past. You stop saying, "I'm not smart enough," or "I don't have what it takes." You begin to see yourself the way God sees you, capable, chosen, and equipped for every good work. You were never meant to live small. You were never meant to just get by. You were designed for abundance, for influence, for impact. But to activate that potential, you must believe it's there. Everything great begins with belief. When you believe that God has placed something powerful within you, you walk differently. You speak differently. You think higher thoughts. You dream bigger dreams. You begin to expect more, not because of arrogance, but because of divine confidence. And that confidence doesn't come from your own strength. It comes from knowing the source of your strength is infinite. Don't allow past mistakes or negative voices to convince you that you are less than what you are. Don't shrink back in fear when you were created to move forward in faith. The seed of greatness has already been planted in your spirit. Your job is to nurture it with faith, water it with action, and watch it grow through persistence. The world needs what you carry. Someone's breakthrough is waiting on your courage. Someone's healing is connected to your gift. Someone's hope will rise because you chose to believe in your God-given potential. So today, reject limitation, refuse to settle, embrace the truth that you are far more powerful, far more capable, far more anointed than you've ever dared to realize. You are a masterpiece in motion created by the Master Creator Himself, and with Him there is no limit to what you can become. Self-doubt is the silent thief that robs us of our destiny. It creeps in quietly, whispering lies that sound like truth. It tells you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough. It convinces you that your dreams are too big, your talents too small, and your failures too many. But let me tell you the truth. Those are not your thoughts. Those are the voices of fear trying to disguise themselves as reason. And fear, when given space in the mind, builds invisible walls that hold you back from the life you were meant to live. Fear and doubt are the only real limitations in life. They are not rooted in reality, but in perception. They are not placed upon you by God, but constructed by your own beliefs. And the moment you choose to believe differently, those walls begin to crumble. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are not incapable. You are simply underestimating the power that is already within you. The same power that has lifted countless people from despair to destiny is alive in you right now, waiting to be awakened by your faith. It is faith, not just in God, but in who God created you to be, that dismantles the inner barriers of self, doubt, Faith declares, I may not see the way yet, but I believe the way will be made. Faith says, I may have failed before, but I am not a failure. Faith reminds you that your worth was never based on your perfection, but on your purpose. When you choose to believe what God says about you instead of what fear says to you, you unlock strength you didn't know you had. You don't need more talent. You don't need more approval. You need more belief, because belief creates momentum. And once you take one step in faith, you'll feel the energy of confidence start to rise inside of you. The more you believe, the more you'll act. The more you act, the more you'll grow. And the more you grow, the more impossible things begin to look possible. That's how you tear down the wall of self-doubt, not all at once, but brick by brick, thought by thought, step by step. So take the first step today. Speak life into yourself. Look in the mirror and declare, I am able, I am chosen, I am enough. That's not arrogance. That's agreement with your Creator. You are not here to be a prisoner of your thoughts. You are here to live free. Free to dream, free to rise, free to pursue the fullness of your purpose. Whatever has been holding you back on the inside can be broken today with the simple but powerful act of belief. Believe that you can, believe that God will, and then walk forward like the wall is already gone, because it is. Everything you will ever accomplish in life starts with a picture in your mind. Long before you hold the dream in your hand, you must first hold it in your imagination. What you see internally is what you will pursue externally. If you see failure, you move cautiously, always expecting defeat. But if you see victory, if you can truly visualize the impossible as possible, you begin to walk, talk, and live as though the breakthrough is already on its way. That's the power of vision. That's the secret of success. You must see it before you ever step into it. Your imagination is one of the most powerful gifts God has given you. It's not just a place for daydreams or fantasies. It is the blueprint of your future. Every great invention, every towering achievement, every story of transformation began in the mind of someone who dared to believe in the invisible. They saw what wasn't there yet. They pictured it. They lived it in their minds before it ever became their reality. This is the way faith works. It creates substance out of vision. It sees the unseen and walks toward it with confidence. Too many people limit their future because they only focus on what is, rather than what could be. They stare at their current circumstances and say, "This is my truth," and not realizing they have the ability to write a new truth through faith-filled imagination. You don't have to be trapped in what is. You can begin to rise toward what can be, but it starts with seeing it in your heart. Close your eyes and picture the life you long to live. Picture yourself walking in purpose, living in peace, standing in strength. That picture isn't foolish, it's your spiritual preview. The world will always tell you to be realistic, to play it safe, to lower your expectations. But God tells you to walk by faith, not by sight. That means sometimes the things you imagine won't make sense to others. They may even seem foolish to you, but if they're rooted in faith, if they're in alignment with your purpose, they are seeds of something divine. And those seeds grow best when you water them with daily vision. Speak to yourself every day as if the dream is already unfolding. Act like the opportunity is already at the door. Pray with gratitude as if the answer has already arrived. This isn't pretending, it's preparing. It's putting your faith into action. The impossible becomes possible when you partner with the one who specializes in miracles. But you must give him something to work with, your belief, your vision, your expectation. So dream boldly, picture your breakthrough, see your healing, imagine your success with clarity and confidence. Hold the vision until the vision begins to hold you. The miracle begins in your mind. So don't be afraid to see big, dream big, and believe even bigger. What you visualize today is what you will realize tomorrow. There is a strength within you that you may not even know exists. It doesn't come from your muscles, your education, or your experience. It doesn't rely on your background or how others see you. This strength is spiritual. It's divine. It is awakened the moment you begin to trust, not just in yourself, but in the God who made you, walks with you, and lives within you. Faith is the key that unlocks this hidden power. When you believe not only in what's possible, but in the one who makes all things possible, you tap into a strength that can carry you through anything. You may have come to the end of your own strength. You may feel exhausted, overwhelmed, or broken down by life, but that's exactly where faith begins to shine, because when your strength runs out, God's strength shows up, and it doesn't show up small. It shows up like a river when the desert seems dry. It shows up like light in the darkness, like peace in the storm. Faith doesn't always change the situation immediately, but it always changes you. It gives you the ability to stand when you feel like falling, to move when you feel stuck, and to hope when everything around you looks hopeless. Miracles begin when you believe they're possible. That's not just a hopeful idea. That's a principle that runs through all of history. Every person who overcame, every person who rose above their circumstances, every person who turned weakness into power started with one thing: belief. Not belief in themselves alone, but belief in a God who empowers them to go beyond natural limits. They believed that what they couldn't do, God could, that what they didn't have, He could provide, and that when they were weak, He would be strong in them. So if you're tired, don't give up. If you feel small, don't retreat. If you've failed, don't settle. Instead, reach for faith. Whisper a prayer of trust. Say in your heart, I don't know how, but I believe. That simple declaration opens the door to supernatural strength. Strength to forgive, strength to rebuild, strength to endure, strength to rise again. This is not blind faith. It's bold faith. It's a trust that grows not from ignoring reality, but from seeing reality through the eyes of God. And when you do that, you see that your weakness is not the end, it's the beginning of His power working in you. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to believe that God does, and when you do, you'll feel that hidden strength begin to rise. It will lift you when you can't lift yourself. It will move you forward when everything says stop. It will make a way when there seems to be no way. That's the kind of strength faith unlocks. Quiet, steady, unshakable, and it's yours right now if you just believe. Your words are not just sounds that fill the air. They are spiritual forces that shape your world. Every time you speak, you are planting seeds. Some are seeds of hope, of strength, of possibility. Others, if spoken carelessly, are seeds of doubt, defeat, and limitation. What you say to yourself and about yourself sets the direction of your life. You cannot speak negativity all day and expect to walk in power. You cannot declare failure and expect to live in victory. If you want your life to go higher, your words must go higher first. Start speaking life. Speak peace, speak joy, speak growth, speak opportunity, speak healing. Begin each morning by declaring the kind of day you want to have. Today, I will walk in strength. Today, favor will find me. Today, I will be guided by wisdom. Today, I will not be held back by fear. These are not empty affirmations. They are declarations of faith, and faith always moves the heart of God. The words you speak in faith create a spiritual atmosphere that welcomes progress and breakthrough. What you say in private when no one is listening is just as important as what you say in public. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'll never change," "This is just who I am," "Nothing good ever happens for me," then your words are building walls instead of opening doors. But the moment you begin to speak possibility, those walls start to fall. Say, "I am growing, I am healing, I am learning, I am worthy, I am becoming everything I was created to be." Speak these truths even before you see the evidence, because words spoken in faith are seeds that will grow in due time. There is power in speaking out loud. When you speak positive, faith-filled words, you hear them with your own ears. Your mind begins to accept them, your emotions begin to align with them, and your actions begin to follow them. This is how transformation happens, not just by what you think, but by what you say, because your mouth is the tool by which you build your life. Even when life is hard, don't let negative words be your response. Speak hope when you feel discouraged. Speak strength when you feel weak. Speak abundance when you're surrounded by lack. Speak healing when your body is tired. You may not feel it right away, but keep speaking it, because every time you do, you are planting seeds, and one day the harvest will come. God created the world with words, and since you are made in His image, your words also carry creative power. Use them wisely, use them boldly, use them to call forth the life you desire. Stop cursing your future with negative declarations. Start blessing it with words of faith. What you speak consistently, you will eventually see. So, speak power, speak purpose, speak possibility, and watch your life begin to transform, one word at a time. Every great achievement begins not with a plan, not with money, not with talent, but with one powerful decision: to believe. Before the invention, before the breakthrough, before the success, there was someone who simply dared to say, "I believe this is possible." That single decision becomes the spark that ignites everything else. Belief is the seed of greatness. It's the force that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. The moment you choose to believe, you shift the course of your life. You awaken the power that has been lying dormant within you. You give permission for your potential to rise. There are people who will spend their entire lives waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect condition. But those who rise, those who create change, those who write history, they don't wait for the perfect moment. They create the moment through belief. It's not about having all the answers. It's not about knowing how it will all unfold. It's about saying, "I don't have it all figured out, but I believe something great can come from this. I believe I am capable. I believe this idea, this dream, this goal is worth pursuing." Success is never guaranteed to those who doubt, but it is always available to those who believe and persist. Belief gives you the courage to start. It gives you the endurance to continue. It gives you the resilience to stand back up after falling down. That first decision to believe is what separates those who live full lives from those who live with regrets. Every author, every inventor, every leader, every healer, every builder of dreams had a point where they had nothing but belief. And that belief was enough to carry them forward. You may be in a place right now where your dream seems far off, where your vision seems too bold, too big, too impossible. But you must remember, everything worth doing begins with belief. Even the greatest oak tree starts as a small seed. Even the brightest fire begins with a single spark. That spark is in you. It's the belief that you were made for more, that you can grow, that you can change, that you can rise above every obstacle. Don't underestimate the decision to believe. It's not just a thought. It's a turning point. It's the moment where everything begins to align. Ideas begin to flow. People begin to notice. Opportunities begin to appear. Not because something changed around you, but because something changed within you. That's the power of belief. It's invisible to the eyes, but undeniable in its results. So choose today. Choose to believe in your dream. Believe in your calling. Believe that your story isn't finished. Believe that your future is still unfolding, because the success story you're waiting for doesn't begin with luck. It begins with your belief. And when you make that choice, the rest of your story starts to write itself, with power, with purpose, and with possibility. With God, all things are possible. That is not just a beautiful verse. It is a spiritual law, a divine reality that governs the universe. It is not limited by time, by logic, or by what human minds can comprehend. It reaches into every situation, every life, every heart, and declares that no matter how great the mountain, how deep the valley, or how impossible the dream may seem, there is a force greater than all impossibility, and that force is God. When you begin to live with the awareness of this truth, everything changes. You no longer see obstacles as the end of the road, but as opportunities for miracles. Too often, people limit what they expect from life because they've been conditioned to believe only in what they can see. They measure their future by their past, their faith by their feelings, their expectations by the opinions of others. But God is not limited by what you've been through. He is not held back by what you lack. The Creator of the universe does not need ideal conditions to perform a miracle. He simply needs your belief. He needs your willingness to trust that the impossible is not only possible, it is natural in the presence of divine power. What may seem too big for you is never too big for God. What looks like a dead end in your life could be the beginning of a new path that only He can create. When you live under the law of infinite possibility, you begin to expect the unexpected. You wake up every day believing that something good is on the way. You walk with your head high, your heart open, and your faith engaged, knowing that God is working even when you cannot see it. That's what it means to live by faith and not by sight. It's not foolish to believe in the impossible. It's faithful. Faith is not based on what is seen. It's based on who is unseen but always present. You may not know how the situation will change, but you know the one who can change it. And that is enough. When you believe in infinite possibility, you become a magnet for miracles. You start taking steps you never thought you could take. You start dreaming dreams you thought were buried. You begin to speak words of life, love, and power, because your spirit knows that nothing is beyond reach when God is involved. Never reduce your vision to match your circumstances. Instead, lift your eyes and expand your faith to match the power of your God. If He said all things are possible, then all things are possible. If He promised that He would never leave you, then you are never alone. If He called you, then He will equip you. You are not walking through life by chance. You are walking by divine design. And with Him, There are no limits, only infinite possibility. Faith is not passive. It is not something you simply feel or think about. Real faith is active. It moves, it pushes, it reaches, it works. If you truly believe something is possible, your actions will show it. Faith without motion is like a car with no engine. It might look good from the outside, but it isn't going anywhere. To activate the power of belief in your life, you must be willing to take steps even when you cannot see the entire path. You must move forward even when you're uncertain, even when it's uncomfortable, even when fear tries to paralyze you. Because faith in motion is faith that produces results. There will never be a perfect time to act. There will always be questions, unknowns, and risks. But the greatest victories are not won by those who waited. They are won by those who stepped out. Even one small step in faith can set into motion a series of divine events that lead to breakthrough. Doors you didn't even know existed begin to open. Resources begin to appear. People cross your path at just the right moment. But none of it happens until you decide to move. Too many people sit on dreams, waiting for confirmation after confirmation, hoping the fear will disappear before they begin. But faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is moving forward in spite of fear. It's trusting that the one who called you will walk with you, even when you feel unsure. The moment you take a step, heaven meets you there. The power of God is attracted to forward movement rooted in belief. Every miracle in Scripture required action. When the waters of the Red Sea parted, it was because Moses raised his staff. When the man was healed at the pool of Bethesda, it was because he picked up his mat and walked. When Peter walked on water, it was because he got out of the boat. In each case, the miracle followed the motion, and the same is true today. Your faith will make a way, but your action must come first. Don't wait until you feel confident. Don't wait until all the pieces are in place. If you believe in the dream, if you believe in the purpose, then start. Make the call. Write the plan, learn the skill. Reach out, speak up, begin where you are with what you have, and trust that God will multiply your efforts as you go. Momentum is built step by step, and each step forward in faith draws you closer to the breakthrough you're praying for. So don't stay stuck in hesitation. Don't live in the land of someday. Keep your faith in motion. Let your belief be seen in your boldness, in your consistency, in your willingness to keep going even when it's hard. When you combine faith with action, the results will follow, not always instantly, but always eventually. And what once looked impossible will become your testimony, not because you had it all figured out, but because you refused to stop moving forward in faith. Every new day is a divine gift, an opportunity to begin again, to think higher, to believe stronger, and to expect more. But too often, we carry yesterday's disappointments into today's possibilities. We let past failures shape our future expectations. We wake up with the weight of regrets, setbacks, or missed chances, and we begin to believe that what was will always be. But that's not the truth. Each morning comes with fresh mercy, renewed grace, and the chance to reset your belief system. You don't have to live today through the lens of yesterday. You can wake up and decide, this day will be different, because I will believe differently. You must learn to renew your mind every single day. Just as your body needs food and rest, your belief system needs nourishment and refreshment. Life has a way of wearing us down. The news, the stress, the pressure, and the voices around us can chip away at our confidence and faith. That's why it's not enough to believe once. You must believe again and again. You must rise each morning and say, no matter what happened yesterday, I choose to believe today. I choose to expect good things. I choose to see with faith. Start your day not with fear, but with faith. Don't reach for your phone first. Reach for truth. Speak words that lift your spirit. Say out loud, today is filled with divine possibility. I am capable. I am strong. I am guided. I am favored. Something good is coming my way. These are not just positive thoughts. They are declarations of truth. They set the tone for your day. They frame your mindset and open the door to what God wants to do in your life. The mistake many people make is allowing the past to define what they expect from the future. They say, I failed last time, so why try again? Or I've always struggled, so I guess this is just how it is. But that mindset is rooted in limitation, not in faith. Just because something didn't work out before doesn't mean it won't now. Just because you've stumbled doesn't mean you can't rise. The most powerful people are not those who never fall. They are those who renew their belief every time they do. You must become intentional about what you allow to shape your thoughts. Feed your mind with truth. Surround yourself with encouragement. Speak life over your goals. And remember, belief is not a one-time act. It is a daily practice. Renew it like you renew your strength. Protect it like you protect your peace. Nurture it like you would a precious flame be, as your belief is what keeps your future burning bright. So don't let yesterday's fail yours limit today's vision. Look forward with eyes of faith. Speak with boldness and believe with a fresh heart. Today is not a repeat of yesterday. It is a brand new opportunity, and you have everything you need to make it extraordinary if you simply choose to believe again. And remember this: when you believe with all your heart, backed by faith and filled with hope, there is no limit to what God can do through you. Believe and keep on believing, and you will see miracles unfold right before your eyes.